Good morning. This is Sunday, December 1st. And so I rolled out of bed to run to my computer so I could see what this week's Advent calendar project was going to be. Hobbii, of course. I've been waiting for a month. It's finally here. And so this is how I began my morning. First, I accessed the page so that I could see what the project was, and needless to say, I was pretty excited about what they offered us for the first week of this 4-week Advent calendar. So I downloaded the instructions, gathered all of my supplies that I was going to need. Next, because I didn't want any additional distractions for the day, I walked my dog, made breakfast for my husband, and a tankard of coffee for myself. So now that all that's finished, I have the rest of the day to myself to work specifically on this project so I can bring the completed reveal to you. Hello, my name is Sig and this is Essential Crochet, and you of course are always welcomed here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe bar, like button, and notification bell. This really helps me out a lot and it keeps you abreast of all my newest and regularly scheduledly dropped videos. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get right into this. So this is what we are going to need for this week's Advent calendar project. Now, this project is a winter berry beanie, and the beanie is designed by Toni of TL Yarn Craft. I will include a link below to her video tutorial on her channel. So the first thing that we're going to need is the Pearly Haze Hobbii yarn that came in our first week's bag. Now, if you want more information on what all actually came in this Advent calendar, I will also include that video link down below so you can see me unboxing, revealing, and reviewing this year's Advent calendar. So this particular yarn is a 73% viscose, a 27% wool. It's a blown yarn and it's quite soft, and I'm excited to see how this works up. Also, they did supply us with written instructions on the Hobbii site so that we can easily download this for our use and convenience. I need a pair of scissors. I need a yarn needle. I need a measuring tape. I also need a 6.5 Tunisian hook. Now, I didn't happen to have a 6.5 Tunisian hook in my collection of hooks. However, this was included in the first week's Advent calendar bag. So that was really nice because, well, you know, they pretty much gave us what we needed. And this is a decent quality hook. So I have no complaints about that. And then also a pom-pom maker. So what I'm really excited about with this particular beanie is that you don't just do one Tunisian stitch. We've got 3 different Tunisian stitches to do. 2 of the Tunisian stitches I'm already quite familiar with. The 3rd I am not. So I'm really excited to work up the patterns that are involved in this beanie. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start working up this beanie, and then I'm going to come right back to you after I've finished it to give you my thoughts as to what I thought of it, what I thought of the yarn, how it worked up, how easy or difficult I thought it was, and then also reveal to you what the finished product looked like after I had my little fingers involved with it. So this is it, the beanie from TL Yarn Craft, designed by Toni, the Winterberry. It was a really fantastic project. I am really pleased with it. It worked up very well. Toni did a great and easy to follow tutorial. And I believe even those who may be a little intimidated by the idea of doing a Tunisian stitch, 3 of them, let alone just the one, I think you're going to find that this was really quite easy. You just take your time, you follow Toni's instructions, and it's all going to work out just beautifully. I love the fact that it looks knitted. Personally, I really love Tunisian crochet myself, and so I was really excited when Hobbii indicated that we would be doing a Tunisian project our first week of the Advent calendar. So as you can see, this is the inside. You can see kind of a little bit of my back seam, right? So that hides itself pretty well. You can kind of see the stitch structure on the back of the fabric, the inside of the beanie. And yeah, and the yarn itself, it was okay to work with. I wasn't terribly unhappy. The only thing I really think I didn't like, which kind of bothered me a little bit with the yarn, is the fiber, the little wool fibers inside the viscose casing. You can see here. So the casing is probably the viscose, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be the case. And then with an air blown yarn like this one is, the fiber or the wool fiber, little fibers are blown into this casing to give it its loft, to give it its weight, if you will. But as I worked, or rather, as I pulled the yarn from the skein in order to work, the little fibers, being wool of course, were like grabby. So it would sort of get hooked onto the yarn before it, just like you see here. And while that really isn't a big deal, it kind of made the flow of my work not quite as smooth as I would like it. Otherwise, this yarn worked up like a dream. It worked smoothly on the hook, so there was no drag on my hook, which I really liked. And speaking of hooks, while Toni does recommend a 16-inch cord on her Tunisian crochet hooks for this project, this 10-inch hook that is provided for us to do this project with was more than adequate. I thought it was fine personally, and I didn't have a problem with it. Not even a little bit. So I think you're going to do just fine with this. And you're going to find that, especially if you're new to this is going to be much more affordable than the hook that she is using herself, which makes sense. That's kind of an upper level hook, kind of a specialty design, if you will, and this is more of a standard. While the hook she's using, the one with the cord, I think does actually make the process a little less wieldy, because the long hook sort of, you have to kind of get used to working with it, because it kind of gets in the way and it doesn't feel quite as easy to maneuver as a standard size hook was. So of course you got your pros and your cons, but all in all, this hook worked just fine for this piece, and I couldn't be happier. Also, out of the 2 skeins provided for this project, this is what I had left of my yarn, even after making the pom-pom, which of course is completely optional. You can have it or you don't have to have it. This hat is going to look great either way. So you're given plenty of yarn for the project to boot. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this on so that we can see what it looks like on a live person. Because sometimes we get a pattern that looks and sounds great, and then we make it up and we don't like it so much. So let's give this a try. And as you can probably guess, I already tried this on myself, so I have some opinions. First of all, I really like this hat. It's probably one of my favorite beanies that I have actually made from a pattern so far. The honeycomb stitch is subtle, but it adds just enough interest to give a little extra something to this hat. Now, this beanie is comfortable. I have about a medium-sized head, so this gives you a good idea, depending on who you are and how you know the size of your head to be, how it might fit or how it might look. Also, before doing this part of the video, I actually went on a walk outside. Now, most of you know that I do live in Alaska, and well, we are entering winter. And today was about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So I wore this out, and it was a clear morning. I walked the dog again. So there was no wind, there was no real chill in the air, and this hat worked fine, perfectly fine for a 20-degree Fahrenheit day, morning, evening. It was good. Now, would I wear this hat if we were dropping more into the lower teens and lower than that? Probably not. I would really want to opt for like a double-walled beanie. Also, if there was a wind blowing, would I want to wear this hat? I don't know. At 20 degrees, maybe not, but at 30 degrees, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because it's the yarn, right? Because I haven't used this yarn before, and I was really curious as to what kind of insulating value it was going to offer. I mean, it offers a great stitch between the yarn and between the actual stitches used. This beanie has a nice structure, and it has just enough stretch, but not too much stretch to be pulled out of shape easily, and just enough resistance to be a nice, comfortable, snug fit. All in all, I would say this beanie pattern was an absolute hit. My hat's off to Toni from TL Yarn. Now, the yarn, while it may not be my first choice in some things, this is a yarn I am definitely going to keep in mind, and I already feel like I see a lot of possible applications for it. So far, first week Hobbii Advent Calendar has been an absolute W. Okay, now it's time for me to go, get this show wrapped up, and start thinking about what next week's Advent Calendar project is going to be like. All right, everybody, have a great week, and until I see you again, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye now.